Let me ask you something. You ever leave money on the table? I don't mean a tip at a restaurant. I mean real money. Money that was yours for the taking and you just walked away from it because you didn't know it was there. Or you knew, but you figured you'd get to it later. I'm 106 years old. I've been paying taxes in this country since 1928, 97 years. I've seen tax laws come and go like seasons, and I'm telling you right now, what just happened with this new tax law? This is a season you don't want to miss, because for the next 3 years, we're already in 2025, and this window closes at the end of 2028. Retirees have an opportunity, a real opportunity, and most of you are going to let it slip away because you think taxes are boring or complicated or somebody else's problem. They're not somebody else's problem. They're your money. And I didn't spend 60 years running a business to watch you throw yours away. Let me tell you about my father, Enzo Benedetto. Came to this country in 1928 with $40, no English, and a leather satchel full of cobbler's tools. $40. You know what that is today? Maybe $600-700. That's what he had to start a life in America. And you know what he did? He worked 16-hour days, factory during the week, fixed shoes at night and weekends. Every penny that came in, he knew where it went. Every penny that went out, he felt it. He used to say to me in Italian, because his English never got good, he used to say, Salvatore, il governo prende sempre la sua parte. The government always takes its share. And he was right. They do. But here's what my father also taught me. You don't have to give them more than their share. You pay what you owe, not a penny less, but not a penny more. That's not cheating. That's intelligence. So when I tell you there's a new tax law that can save you thousands of dollars over the next 3 years, I need you to pay attention, because this isn't some scheme. This isn't anything illegal. This is the government literally saying, here's a deduction, take it. And most of you won't. All right, let me break this down the way I'd explain it to my daughter Lucia. She's 78, still sharp, but she doesn't like when I get too complicated. Here's what just happened. The tax law that passed, it makes the lower tax brackets permanent. That's important because until now, everyone thought the 2017 tax cuts were going to expire at the end of 2025. That would have meant higher taxes for almost everybody. The 12% bracket jumping back to 15%, the 22% going to 25%, and so on. That's not happening now. The lower rates are staying. But here's the part that matters most if you're retired or about to be. The standard deduction got bigger, and if you're over 65, it got much bigger. So for 2025, if you're married filing jointly, your standard deduction is $31,500. If you're single, it's $15,750. But wait, if you're over 65, you get another bump on top of that. $1,600 per spouse if you're married, $2,000 if you're single. So a married couple, both over 65, their standard deduction is $34,700. That means almost $35,000 of your income is completely shielded from federal taxes. Gone. The IRS doesn't touch it. And we haven't even gotten to the good part yet. You know, I think about money differently now than I did when I was young. When I was 31, my wife Anna Maria died. Brain aneurysm. She was 28. I found her on the roof where she'd been hanging laundry. The sheets were still wet. I was left with 2 small children and a rage in my chest that I didn't know what to do with. And I threw myself into work. 70-hour weeks, built my shop, made money, lost money, made it again. And for a long time I thought money was just survival. You make it so you don't starve. You save it so your kids don't struggle. But here's what I learned later, much later. Money is also time. Every dollar you save on taxes, every dollar you don't waste, that's time you're buying back. Time with your grandchildren, time to travel, time to do the things you kept putting off. So when I tell you to pay attention to this tax stuff, I'm not telling you to be greedy. I'm telling you to be smart. Because the years you have left, they're worth more than any dollar amount. And the money you save can help you live them better. Now, here's the part that's only available until the end of 2028. The clock is already ticking. 2025 is here, which means you've got roughly 3 years left to take advantage. Starting this year, there's a brand new thing called the senior bonus deduction. It's $6,000 per person over 65. So if you're married and both of you qualify, that's $12,000 extra. And here's what makes this special. It stacks on top of everything else. So that $34,700 standard deduction I mentioned, add $12,000 to it. That means a retired married couple, both over 65, has an effective standard deduction of almost $47,000 in 2025. $47,000 of income that's federally tax-free. You understand what that means? If your adjusted gross income is $100,000, only about $53,000 of it is actually taxable. The rest, the government doesn't touch it. But, and this is the important part, this senior bonus deduction expires at the end of 2028, 3 years from now. After that, it's gone. Nobody knows if they'll bring it back. Nobody knows what the next administration will do. So whatever you're going to do with this opportunity, you have 3 years to do it. And 2025 is already slipping by. Let me tell you about a mistake I made. In 1978, my shop burned down. Electrical fire. 30 years of work gone in one night. I stood in the ashes thinking my life was over. But the neighborhood came together. Mrs. Chen from the laundromat, Mr. O'Malley from the bar next door. They raised money, showed up with hammers and paint. I reopened in 1979. Now, here's where I was stupid. The insurance company offered me a settlement, and my accountant at the time, guy named Morty Feldstein, good man, rest his soul, Morty told me there were ways to handle that money that would save me a lot in taxes. Spread it out over a few years. Put some into retirement accounts. Structure things properly. And I said, Morty, I don't have time for this. I need to rebuild. So I took the money all at once, paid taxes on it all at once, lost